It was like
Oh.
God was going, Urvashi, wake up, wake up, wake up. Come on. It was beautiful, but really like, what do you want?
So that 2012, that was the start of your awakening, because that was the start of your journey. As soon as you sort of say, your soul says, I don't want something that's not serving me anymore, that is the start of your awakening.
Mm.
As you know, I was working for the government for 34 years. And my soul kept telling me, get out of here, get out of here. So it was making me ill, making me stressed, pushing me to meditation. And then finally, I left last year. And so I wouldn't say last year was my awakening. I would say I've had various points in my life, like loads of things happen to you in your lifetime, that a little bit, and it, then makes you into this lotus.
Welcome to the Brown Girl Rising podcast, where authenticity meets empowerment. I'm Urvashi, your host and your guide on this journey of elevating voices, sharing stories, and navigating the journey of resilience. So let's dive in.
Hello, ladies, and welcome to Brown Girl Rising. We are in season 2, and I have got an incredible guest for you today. Her name is Roshney Mistry. Roshney and I met at an event at the latter end of last year, 2023, and honestly, the connection was immediate. It turns out that Roshney actually knows my Masi quite well, and has worked with her, and I was drawn to her incredible energy. Her energy is just peace, love, and light is what I can say. And Roshney is a spiritual energy coach, and she works with Rahani celestial healing. She's an Akashic record healer. She works with your inner child, and she really helps you to unblock and move through any issues, traumas, and anything that's holding you back from the life that you really want to lead. So Roshney, I'm so excited to have you here. I mean, this happened pretty quickly. We were like, I like you, I like your energy, and now it's like we're best of friends. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, and thank you for a lovely introduction.
You're welcome. So Roshney, the first question I have for you is one that I ask all my guests, is what does self-love mean to you?
So, oh God, how long have you got? Right,
let's go for it.
So self-love for me starts off with mind, body, and soul. Okay, so people always think that, oh, okay, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing a bit of exercise, I'm doing yoga, I'm having, smoothies and, protein shakes. It's all good doing that, but it's so important to work on your mind and to work on your emotions and to nurture your soul. All about nurturing your soul for me. So do the inner work as well as the physical element.
Okay, so when you say nurturing your soul, can you give us an example of what you mean by nurturing the soul?
Okay, so and I know after working with clients is that a lot of people have trapped and blocked emotions.
Yes.
Okay, and by going on courses, we were just talking about one course, weren't we, that we're both doing?
Yeah.
By going on courses, by reading up on spirituality things, by giving yourself time out, that is nurturing the soul. That's really giving you spiritual growth. Also, self-love is having boundaries. Okay, we run around for other people, and sometimes we don't say no. Okay, so it's so important to have boundaries. And I think in the Asian culture, it's very common to sort of like, oh, just do people pleasing. I used to do that a lot. I've stopped that now because I have so much self-love. But self-love is something that everyone needs to work on. I don't believe that, there's people out there that have got it 100% right. There's always times when we're feeling lots of self-love, and then there's times where we're thinking, I need to give myself self-love.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I think boundaries is a really big thing for me, especially right now, and I'm sure it is for you, but not just boundaries in like your life or with your family and your friends, but boundaries with your business as well. That you need to, a lot of us left 9-to-5 life, 9-to-5 matrix to start working for ourselves, right? But we didn't keep any boundaries. Like, at least with a 9-to-5, you could go, right, I'm done. But we decided that we wanted this life of freedom, but that freedom became our business, and we didn't have boundaries. So I think it's really important to have boundaries in your business as well. But actually, this is what I want to talk about with you, your business. So can you explain what Akashic Records are, because this was something that I came to you for. We did a reading, which was just magnificent. It was incredible. We went quite deep. What are the Akashic Records?
Okay, so if you think Akash means in Sanskrit, it means space, right? And in English, ether, right? The ether or ether. And I think of it as a cosmic library of where everything is recorded, especially our past lives. Okay. So this, what we're doing right now, is being recorded there right now. So
and I'm recording it too.
So it's literally like a record button going on there. And anything you think, anything you say, anything that you do is being recorded or has been recorded for the past. So if you say something strong enough, like, oh my God, I really hate my neighbor. I really hate my neighbor. If you say that strong enough, you can build up such a horrible contract, a soul contract with that person. In the next life, it could come back that you are severe enemies and something good is not going to come out of it, you know.
Wow.
So it's all about contracts, vows, agreements that we speak, we say now, that is recorded in the Akashics. What I do is I help you clear them. So if you feel like, okay, I've got a block with my employment, it could be you have a problem with authority, with managers, and it may have been in your previous life you were a soldier, because soldiers had to write a contract or an agreement to say, I will only swear by, you know, my master or the chief or the whoever it was, of the military. And in this lifetime, because you've made that vow, you've made that agreement, that contract, you have a problem with authority, with managers. You're always like having, you know, ruckuses with managers. Okay. So another example is, one of my clients, she's had 2 failed marriages, and remember, a failed marriage is never a failure, right? It's always a lesson or a blessing. I would say a lesson or a blessing, and it's growth for us. I know so many people that have had failed marriages and they have just come out, you know, into a spiritual awakening, or they're doing amazing things because they've got growth from it. But anyway, back to the story. So this particular client, she's had 2 failed marriages, went into her Akashic Records, and she had 4 previous failed marriages, and she made a vow in one of the lifetimes, I'm never going to get married again. Oh. Okay. And so the good news is, I've had really good feedback from her to say that she feels a lot more positive and she's dating people, which is really good, because she wasn't even doing that. Because she felt like, oh my God, I've had 2 failed marriages. I don't want to know anymore. So this is what the Akashic Records tells you. Okay. It's an infinite, absolutely, or shall I say infinite, because my teacher says infinite, an infinite cosmic library. So I might see it as books. Sometimes it could be scrolls. Sometimes I'll just hear my guides and angels come in and say, no, this is what this person needs. And that's how it works.
So I see it as a book. So for me, it was a really like a massive leather bound, like a brown leather book. When you took me to my Akashics, that's how it felt for me. Every time I think of an Akashic record, it's like a huge library. It's like this infinite universe of library, and there's one book with my name on it. Now, my question is that, or the records that you talked about, so, you know, you're saying it's got everything we say, we do, we speak, is recorded in the Akashic, in our own personal Akashic records. But is that just lifetimes on this planet?
No, it could be other lifetimes as well. So right now, I mean, I've been told this because I've had a consciousness level reading done. And I've got 3 lives going on concurrently right now.
What?
So, yep. So I think one is on the Pleiades planet, and the other one, I can't remember where it is. But yeah, so there's 3 of me. There's only one soul, right? But you know, there are parallel lives, parallel living. So it's a very interesting question. You said that. So yeah, sometimes the Akashics can reveal that to you if people want to know. Sometimes you're not meant to know for a reason. So whatever it is, whatever healing is required, or whatever, sometimes the Akashics, mostly it's Archangel Metatron up there. He's the librarian. He's the one who looks after it. And
I wish you could see what's in front of me right now, because I have Metatron's cube on my.
Oh, amazing! Yeah. I love Metatron. So sometimes he'll say no healing is required at the moment because this person needs to live this out. They've come here to they have to actually live through this. Most of the time it's clear, we're able to clear it, but sometimes, so I always have to ask permission and say, can we clear this? Can we clear the cord that's attached to this? Or can we clear, this past belief or pattern that is running through this person right now?
Yeah, that's amazing. So are you telling me that your soul has been split into 3 right now?
Yeah, so probably not the soul. It's probably the, how do you want to say it? The coat. Yeah, the coat I've got on. So probably I've got 2 other me's. Yeah, I suppose you can say the soul is split. Yeah, because I believe you can't have 2 souls. There's only one soul.
Yeah.
Right? But you can have 3 of me. I might not look the same, but I might be like a 55-year-old man in another world.
Okay.
Or I might be a friendly alien on another planet.
Wow.
So it's really interesting. Yeah, when you delve deeper into this into the spiritual realms, that's one thing about the Akashic Records. It knows everything. It can tell you everything, but you have to do the work and go in there and ask. And anyone can go in there and ask.
How did you get into it? And secondly, where did the Akashic Records start from? Like, how do we even know they exist?
Okay, so I know for sure that I don't believe that it was in Hinduism that it started. I don't believe that. I have to be honest, I don't know where or when it started. It's always been there. Because if you think about life, the minute that life started, that is being recorded. Yeah, that is, it's the atmosphere, it's there. Right? Everything is being recorded. And I have to ask you, sorry, can you repeat the second part of your question again?
Yeah, the first part of my question, how did you get into it?
How did I get into it? So I had different healing sessions, and someone would mention, okay, I'm going to go up to your Akashics, because you do need permission, right? Yeah. And then they would tell me, but it wasn't in depth. It'd be just like, oh, I'm just going to clear this because I see you in this lifetime. You were a witch and you did this. And on that note, a lot of people who don't believe in reincarnation, I totally have respect for that, for people who don't believe that, because, in Hinduism, we believe in reincarnation. But if there's a book called Many Lives and Many Masters by Brian Weiss, he's a psychiatrist. It's an amazing book.
Okay,
absolutely amazing book.
Many Lives
and Many Masters.
Many Masters. Okay. I mean, I have a whole library to read right now, but yeah.
He's a psychiatrist who, through his clients, learnt that they were going through stuff in their life because of their past lives. So it will absolutely change anybody's mind about reincarnation. So that's that's one of the reasons why I got into it. But what happened is, for me, if I see something twice, it's a nudge for me to say, you need to do that. Right. So do
you mean deja vu?
A bit like deja vu, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So someone will say to me, oh, there's an Akashic Records training going on. And I'll be like, okay. And then I'll see it in a magazine. Yeah, I'll see Akashic Records. What is it? And I'm like, okay, I've got my sign. I need to do it. And then my guides came in and said, you need to do it. Okay. Yeah, they were kind of nudging me for 6 months. And I was like, right. I just got to find the right person.
I love that. I love that. So you just mentioned like lifetimes and reincarnation. I just want to kind of delve into that a little bit. There are stories out there of like little kids who, they're 3 years old or whatever, and they'll be in their car with their mums, then they'll be like, oh, I died in that house, or they'll go to a supermarket and they'll see somebody who's like an old man or old woman, they're like, that was my husband. Like, what do you think about things like that? Like, is it real?
It is real. It is real. So what we're actually taught in the Akashics training is that basically children up to around the age of 6, 7, their soul is still like formed. No, their soul is formed, but they're still spiritually with source, with creator. So that's why there's two things you see children do, especially babies. You always see them look up as if they're talking to someone, right? You think, yeah. So, and the second thing is, they will remember things from their past life because they were just so near source. They've just come into the world. They will very, very, very sharply remember what happened in their previous life. Okay, but as they go along, as we go along, we start getting conditioned, we start getting programmed, we start getting things, put into our space, energy space, and then we forget. And this is where, this is what's important, is that, even the healing work that we do, even though you might receive the training, we've always known it. We've always known it. It's just that we'd forgotten who we really are. And so it's so important that we come back and remember who we truly are and what we came here to do.
So if you have a child who says this kind of stuff to you, like, Mummy, I was floating around, the universe for 10,000 years until you became my mummy and I was just waiting for you and stuff like that. Like, should you, as especially because obviously people listening to this podcast are going to be quite spiritually aware, quite connected to somewhat degree, should you really help that child continue on that path? Because what happens in our reality in this matrix world is we forget, we're institutionalized, we go to school, and then it's like, no, this is law and order now. But what should you do if you've got a child who's very connected and you also are now somewhat reconnected?
Okay, so just that child, if they're gifted that way, which most of them all are, just let them be and let them do what they need to do. There's a couple of young children on TikTok. I don't know their names, but they are incredible and they are just speaking. They are literally, I think they're about 8 or 9, 8-year-old or 9-year-old. There's a girl and a boy. I can't remember their names, but they speak directly from source. You can ask them anything. So what the mum does is she does these videos and she shares it with everyone. And I'm like, wow. And a lot of children, if you notice, a lot of children that are coming in right now, they are just so full of love. They're full of love. They're full of joy. They have this magical energy about them. Why? It's because we are changing. So the more spiritual work we do on ourselves, we change the ancestral lineage, and we're changing the world. Okay, so a lot of this happened in the Aquarian age when it started in 2012. Many people started getting, had an awakening. And so that's been going on. And, now we're seeing the fruits of our labor. So you just said the Aquarian age. Are you talking about Pluto going into Aquarius from? No, that was, No, that was recent. That was recent. That happened. The Aquarian age, actually, if you look up, I think something happened in 2012 where you notice a lot of spiritual healers awakened. A lot of people had things happen in their life that, that really, really kind of woke them up and said, I need to be on this path. I need to be helping people. I need to be of service. I want to make a difference in the world.
I'm just trying to think what happened to me in 2012, and I remember that I got made redundant from Asian Day, and then I decided to just get rid of my shares in Chili Tickets as a business that I had for 8-9 years, and I was like, I'm done. And then I went into, I don't think I had an awakening at that point. I knew something had changed. There was a guy in my life at the time who it didn't work out with, and it really sent me into a spiral, of what is the point of life? And I didn't want to live. And I'm then thinking, I know what happened. I just bought my first property, and it was like, okay, now I have to step up and level up. But I think I had my first spiritual awakening in 2017.
I did. I had mine in 2016 as well.
I was in Thailand, and I was climbing Big Buddha Mountain. And when it was a third or fourth time I climbed the mountain. So it's not like the first 2 times it was great. I was timing myself. But this time it was so emotional climbing up. And I got to the top, and I just turned the corner. I saw this huge white statue of Buddha and burst into tears. I don't know what happened. And it was like God was going, Urvashi, wake up, wake up, wake up. Come on. And it was beautiful, but really what do you want?
So that 2012, that was the start of your awakening, because that was the start of your journey where you're like, I'm not having that anymore. As soon as you sort of say, your soul says, I don't want something that's not serving me anymore, that is the start of your awakening. As you know, I was working for the government for 34 years. And my soul kept telling me, kept telling my body, get out of here, get out of here. You know, it was making me ill, making me stressed, pushing me to meditation, pushing me more into into the coaching. Yeah. And then finally I left last year, took the plunge. And so I wouldn't say last year was my awakening. I would say I've had various points in my life. Like my mum died when I was 96. She was only 53. So basically I was only 23. And when you're 23, you say to yourself, you always think your parents are going to be around forever. Yeah, so that was a bit of an awakening for me. Then the second time, I would say, when my mother-in-law had cancer, she passed away with cancer. So that was also a bit of an awakening. Yeah, so loads of things happen to you in your lifetime, that a little bit, and it then makes you into this lotus.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree with the various awakenings, but also know very deep down, truly, that I was, as a child, very woke. I remember, I don't know if it was very woke is the right thing to say, but it's happened a few times, and it's always the sky. I've got something about the sky, and I used to lay on the grass, look up sky and be like, what is the point of it all? I've always questioned, what is the point of life? We're born, we go to school, we get a job, we go, we get married, we have babies, we retire, we have 10 years max when we retire, if that, and then we die. Why?
I'll tell you why.
Go on then, tell me why.
So with the Akashic Records, okay, it's all about school, right? Yeah. We come back here to heal what we didn't heal and what we didn't learn in the previous life or lives, okay?
Earth is our school.
Earth is our Earth school. I call it the Earth school, okay? So it's to learn the lessons, okay? So it's to learn all the karmic actions that we did in our previous life, so that when we come back here, the reason behind it is so that the soul can be the end of the day, like even Hindus believe this, is that you want moksha, and moksha is you want to be with source, you want to be like source, you want to be connected to source, and source, creator, God, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he's not triggered, or he or she is not triggered. Does not punish, does not judge, does not have ego. And as a human being, you know how difficult that is. Like even the Tibetan monks, they have karmic actions that they've come to heal. Like none of them, no one on this earth right now is like, oh, I'm completely a saint, a guru, and I'm totally happy for the rest of my life.
Not Sadhguru.
No one. He's probably got Sai Baba, because he's an ascended master. I think he is probably okay. Yeah, but everyone that's come on this earth has had, is here to fulfill those karmic actions. Yeah, and people see karma as like, oh my God, it's, I was so terrible. I killed someone in my previous life. Listen, we've done everything. We've lived everything. We were witches, we were wizards, we were murderers. You name it. Most of us have done it. Okay. It's just that we don't remember all these lives. And also some of us are old souls where we've had thousands of lives. Okay. That's what the Akashic is about.
I've been told I've had 54 lives. And actually my current mother has shared 27 of those. Yes, and we've always chosen each other if we've been on this planet at the same time. But in most of those lives, I was her mother. Yeah, which makes sense to me in this life now, because sometimes I do find myself mothering her. Yeah,
my son is probably going to hate me, but I think he's my father sometimes. He's always telling me what to do. He's going to be like, Mom. But
I've also been told that I've been an alien 4 times.
Yes, and I remember I said to you that I know for sure we were on Atlantis together, which is why we've met in this lifetime.
Let's talk
Yeah,
about
so you
Atlantis, please. Like, I love this. Atlantis, Lemuria. Let's just talk about what
so
are we talking about right now?
my take on Atlantis is that it was a beautiful, beautiful planet where there was so much love, so much joy. There was, we had all these gifts. We had these spiritual gifts. Yeah. So literally, I can just do that, and then you'd have like a beautiful dress on. Yeah, I'd have a magic wand. We had all this, and I could just put my hand over your head, and you're healed. Yeah. We had these magical powers because we have so much love, unconditional love, and unconditional light.
Yeah.
So life on Atlantis was amazing. Then comes along maybe some other entities from other planets or abuse. Okay, so where the abuse comes in, where you abuse your magical powers and your gifts, this is what got out of hand, and then they say Atlantis sunk.
Yeah.
Right. So I know I've been told, this is a really good example actually of the Akashics. I've been told that all my life, apart from now, I don't worry as much yet. I always used to feel like, oh no, I need to save the world. I need to save the world. I need to go and help this person. I need to do that. I need to do something about the wars that is going on. I always was a natural worrier. Yeah, speak to my family, they'll tell you how much I used to worry. And then I was told that when Atlantis was sinking, I was stood there. And I was like, oh my God, I should have saved, I should have done something. So when I came into this lifetime, I felt that it was my job to heal someone. It's my job to save the war or save that person or help them. But we cleared that. So, so you see how powerful.
Yeah, I do. So is Atlantis a planet or a city?
Planet.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of when it kind of imploded is what you're saying.
Yeah, it just sunk basically because of the abuse that, people.
So when you talk to somebody here, they'd be like, Atlantis is a city that's sunk in Greece, for example, right? It's not that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an actual planet. People have different takes on it. I would see it as a planet. Yeah, I would see it because we say Atlantean. Atlantis,
yes.
Yeah. So there's this place, I don't know if you've been to it, in Ibiza called Esvedra.
Okay.
So Esvedra is said to be a very spiritual, feminine, quite, mermaidy place. And I've been there for sunset. And honestly, and I would 100% recommend, if you haven't been to Esvedra for sunset in Ibiza, that you forget what Ibiza has been created to be by the Brits and go to real Ibiza. You're going to see it's a very incredible island. And Esvedra, honestly, I can't explain what happens when you're there, but you're so connected. And whenever I think of Atlantis, I think of the rocks of Esvedra. I think of like the beautiful golden like arches, the sand, the waves. And I feel like I was definitely at one with water at one point.
Yeah.
And so I can't remember what planet it was. Was it Lemuria or something where you're like Lemurian and you're like literally you breathe underwater? Like I feel like that was me.
Oh wow, I love that. I really love that. But you've also you reminded me that when I went to Santorini in 2016. The one with the blue domes, the white houses with the blue domes. There are a lot of rumours to say that it sunk around there because there was a lot of volcanic things going on. And when I went there the first day, the morning I woke up, I heard this sound in my ear, and it honestly sounded like angels singing. And I was going to my husband, can you hear that? Can you hear that? And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, can you hear that sound? And I literally had that sound with me. It changed on and off for a couple of weeks, even after I came back, and it would come back. And someone said to me that, it could be because of Atlantis being somewhere around there. And I was like, wow, and they do say like, someone said, oh no, that's just tinnitus. And I was like, no, it was more than that, trust me. And sometimes the universe speaks to you.
Yeah, it does.
Through sound.
It's not tinnitus. Tinnitus is like constant, right? Like it's quite I have that. I'm like, I think I was in an event last weekend and I just got this into my ear.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's angel sounds.
It wasn't offensive, but whenever I get that like sound, a high pitched sound in my ears, I literally say, angels, thank you. I know you're there, but you don't need to be here right now. And literally within 30 seconds, the sound's gone.
Yeah,
I asked them to leave
that
me
is the
alone.
angels.
Yeah,
That is the angels.
I asked
Yeah.
them to just leave me alone right now. I don't need you right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
So just leave me alone right now. I'll be with you soon.
That's
Like,
brilliant. And another way you could do it, just say, oh, thank you for showing me. So when you say thank you for showing me, they'll kind of like, you know, they'll kind of like just step away. Yeah. You know, the signs from the angels are amazing. The amount of times when I was down at work or I was not feeling good, I'd see a beautiful white feather, pure white feather, just come right in front of me, and I'd be like,
right?
wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And the amount of times it was on my car or it's come into my house, and then you know, and even my son and husband have kind of like clued on that. They're like, oh look, there's one of your angels.
But it's true, right? So when I was deciding whether I should stay in my job last June or quit and do this full time, like the podcasting and the coaching full time, I asked the angels, like, I knew I needed to make the decision, but I said to them, to confirm this decision, can you send me a white feather? Okay. And I asked, and it didn't come. And on Monday, as I walked to work from Liverpool Street to Hoxton Square, right, I got 200 meters from the office, 1 white feather, 2 white feather, 3 white feather, 4 white feather, 5 white feather. And I was like, okay, I'm handing my notice in.
Yeah, you get told, you know, you just have to be open to receive the information and trust what is coming in. You know, trust and surrender are the biggest words.
Trust, surrender, let's go. Or let go, isn't it? That's the Hara song. Okay, so let me ask you this. I spoke to you about Reiki a while ago, and you went, oh no, I'm a Rahani coach, Rahani healing coach. And I was like, what do you mean? What is Rahani, please?
Okay, so Rahani is of one heart. Okay, so it's very similar to Reiki. There's no egoistic levels like Reiki's better or Rahani's better.
Okay.
Rahani was more introduced in the 80s, although it's been around for eons. Okay. It was introduced by a lady called Carol Nestle, and you know, she got it through her vision, through her dreams, and basically it's just balancing, it's sending and channeling light of fifth dimensional to your chakras, so that you can have a more harmonious love, compassion, unconditional love to your body, and balance the feminine and masculine energies. Okay, so Reiki is very similar. Sometimes I might go for a Reiki session. Just because I'm a Rahani celestial healer doesn't mean that I don't need Reiki. Sometimes I might need a bit of Reiki. Your soul knows what it wants, you know. But Rahani is faster. It's quite quick, you know, because of the fifth dimensional. But like I said, whatever your soul needs, you'll be called to it and say, I need to go for a Reiki, or I need to go for a Rahani.
In Rahani, do you use symbols like you use in Reiki?
Yes, there's symbols that we are given when we're attuned. We use more of the channeling guides, like Melchizedek, he's the gatekeeper of the universe. Kuan Yin, she's of compassion. And then whoever comes in, Jesus, Mother Mary. Sometimes I will get Lord Shiv. You know, whoever's right for that person will come in, and that light will be channeled. Yeah. So like I said, I'm not a healer. It's just channeled through me. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, who did you get with me? Who came in? I think it was Shiv, wasn't it?
I think it was Shiv and someone else. Was it Sai Baba? I can't remember.
Yes.
No, I can't remember, because I do so many readings.
Sai Baba? What?
So I do so many readings. I can't remember, because that's why I send you guys the recording, because you know I'm in a channeling mode, so I won't remember. I won't remember what happened. You know,
it's magic. So Roshney, we don't want to go over time, but I just want to ask, like, if somebody wants to get in contact with you in terms of doing one of your workshops, or doing, you know, getting the Akashic Records read and doing the Rahani, which is what I've done with you, how do they get in contact with you, my love?
Okay, so my website is www.roshneyMistry.co.uk. So exactly how my name is. I've got a light and spirituality page on Facebook and Instagram. Now I also do one of the most powerful things that I do is inner child healing and cord cutting. So they're actually probably one of the most things I do, more than the Akashics. But Akashics, people are asking me left, right and centre to do a training course on it. So I have been trained as a teacher, so I will be doing that in the next few months. But this Sunday, I've got a Akashic Records workshop. If you want to know a little bit more about Akashics, that's on Sunday at 8 p.m. via Zoom.
Amazing. Amazing. So you go to roshneyMistry.co.uk. If you want to get hold of Roshni, honestly, I would recommend an Akashic record reading, Rohani, inner child stuff. She's done a lot with me, and Roshni's become somebody who I can personally rely on. Like when I had like a massive thing happen a couple of Fridays ago, she guided me through it, and she literally was that sounding board that I needed. And so you've been an absolute light in my life, and I cannot wait to learn the Akashic Records from you as well, because I feel like that is a calling for me for sure. And guys, if you want to get hold of me, you know where I am. It is I am Unlimited Urvashi or browngirl.rising, and of course coaching is open as well. So if you need me, let me know, and it's just unlimitedurvashi.com. Roshni, thank you so much for being here today, my love.
Thank you.
I hope you loved it as much as I have. I
loved it more than you did.
Oh, bless you.
For sure.
Listen, I'm 100% certain that I'm going to get you on another podcast at some point. So thank you so much for being on this season, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye, ciao.